In the quaint little town of Willowbrook, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, life moved at a leisurely pace. The townsfolk were friendly, the air was fresh, and the animals roamed freely, each with their own little adventures. Among these animals were two unlikely companions, a cat named Whiskers and a dog named Max. Whiskers was a sleek, black cat with emerald green eyes that seemed to glow in the moonlight. She was known for her independence and her sharp wit. Whiskers spent her days lounging on the windowsills of the town's cottages, occasionally darting out to chase a butterfly or two. She was the queen of her domain, and she knew it. Max, on the other hand, was a golden retriever with a heart as big as his floppy ears. He was the town's favorite dog, always ready with a wagging tail and a friendly bark. Max loved everyone and everything, from the smallest mouse to the tallest tree. He spent his days playing fetch with the children, exploring the woods, and dreaming of grand adventures. Despite living in the same town, Whiskers and Max had never really crossed paths. Whiskers preferred the quiet solitude of her own company, while Max was always surrounded by a crowd of admirers. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves turned golden and the air grew cooler, Whiskers decided to venture further than usual. She had heard tales of a mysterious old oak tree deep in the woods, said to be the oldest tree in Willowbrook. Intrigued, she set off on her journey, her paws crunching on the fallen leaves. Meanwhile, Max was also exploring the woods, his nose to the ground as he followed the scent of something exciting. He had heard rumors of a hidden treasure buried somewhere in the forest, and he was determined to find it. His tail wagged furiously as he bounded through the underbrush, his excitement growing with each step. It wasn't long before their paths crossed. Whiskers was perched on a low branch of the old oak tree, her eyes scanning the forest floor below. Max, following his nose, stumbled upon the tree and looked up, his eyes meeting Whiskers, for the first time. "Hello there," Max barked cheerfully, his tail wagging. "What are you doing up there?" Whiskers narrowed her eyes, unimpressed by the dog's enthusiasm. "I'm enjoying the view," she replied coolly. "What are you doing down there?" "I'm looking for treasure," Max exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Have you seen any around here?" Whiskers sighed, shaking her head. "Treasure? Really? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard." Max's ears drooped slightly, but he quickly perked up again. "Well, maybe you could help me look for it. Two sets of eyes are better than one, right?" Whiskers considered this for a moment. She had to admit, the dog's enthusiasm was somewhat endearing. And besides, she had nothing better to do. "Fine," she said, leaping down from the branch with graceful ease. "But don't expect me to get my paws dirty." Max's tail wagged even faster, and he bounded ahead, leading the way through the forest. Whiskers followed at a more leisurely pace, her eyes scanning the surroundings with a keen interest. As they walked, they began to talk, sharing stories of their lives in Willowbrook. Whiskers told Max about her days spent lounging in the sun, chasing butterflies, and outsmarting the occasional mouse. Max, in turn, shared tales of his adventures with the town's children, his love for fetch, and his dreams of finding treasure. Despite their differences, they found common ground in their love for adventure and their curiosity about the world around them. As the day wore on, they grew more comfortable with each other, their initial wariness giving way to a budding friendship. Eventually, they came upon a small clearing in the woods, where a peculiar-looking rock caught Max's attention. "This is it," he exclaimed, his nose pressed to the ground. "I can smell it. The treasure is here." Whiskers rolled her eyes but couldn't help feeling a twinge of curiosity. She watched as Max began to dig furiously, sending dirt flying in all directions. After a few minutes, his paw hit something hard, and he let out a triumphant bark. "I found it," he cried, pulling out a small, rusty box. He opened it eagerly, revealing a collection of shiny trinkets, a few coins, a broken necklace, and a small, intricately carved wooden figurine. Whiskers peered into the box, her interest piqued. "Not bad," she admitted. "But it's hardly a treasure." Max's eyes sparkled with excitement. "It is to me. This is the best day ever." He held up the wooden figurine, examining it closely. "Look at this. It's so detailed." Whiskers couldn't help but smile at the dog's enthusiasm. "Well, I suppose it's not every day you find a box of trinkets in the woods." As they sat in the clearing, examining the contents of the box, the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the forest. Whiskers and Max realized that they had spent the entire day together, and neither of them had regretted a single moment. From that day on, Whiskers and Max became inseparable. They continued to explore the woods together, discovering new treasures and sharing countless adventures. Whiskers taught Max the art of patience and observation, while Max showed Whiskers the joy of living in the moment and embracing life with an open heart. Their friendship became the talk of the town, and the people of Willowbrook often smiled as they saw the unlikely pair walking through the streets or lounging in the sun. Whiskers and Max proved that even the most different of creatures could find common ground and form a bond that was stronger than any treasure. As the seasons changed and the years passed, Whiskers and Max grew older, but their friendship remained as strong as ever. They continued to explore the woods, their adventures becoming the stuff of legend in Willowbrook. And though they never found another treasure quite like the one they had discovered that fateful day, they knew that the real treasure was the friendship they had found in each other. And so, in the quaint little town of Willowbrook, the story of Whiskers and Max became a timeless tale of friendship, adventure, and the magic that can happen when two unlikely souls come together. The end.